The final 53-man roster is set, and they're not finished because the practice squad is on the way. We're going to talk about that right here. Also, Nick Bosa, the 49ers, not even close? Or are they? New reports. We're going to break it down right here on the Wayne Breezie Show. Let's go!
We so bright that we shining. All we know is the Niners. Red and gold at its finest. We so faithful to the bay. We so bright that we shining. All we know is the Niners. Red and gold at its finest. We so faithful to the bay. Yeah.
Red and gold, red and gold, red and gold. We gonna lose the title. No, you know we's fighting for. What's going on, faithful? Welcome to the Wayne Breezie Show. Round of applause to you guys out there. Let me just reel it in. No, I don't have any like great news, but new reports are out today. We're gonna talk about that right here because there's a rumor that started, and then all of a sudden the new. So you know what? Let me shout out the Breezy Bunch crew before we get into all the drama with the San Francisco 49ers, because that's what this show does. We talk about the drama, we break it down, and then we go about our merry way. Shout out to the Breezy Bunch crew already. First in the building, my brother from another mother, Eddie G and the B Dogs. What up, faithful? Not sure if I'm going to catch the live. Got a hurricane coming. Listen, we're praying for you. Do what you can to keep you and your family safe. In these natural disasters, man, they're out there. They're not going anywhere, but we're praying that you guys are going to be great. And I'm not talking E40, Glenn and the Click. Love y'all. Pay Bosa. Love the hashtag. Peachy in the building. Please be safe. Eddie G sending her prayers, thoughts, and loves, as well as Jax Knox is in the building with the Good Morning Breezy and Faithful. Hopefully Bosa contract is done soon. And very soon, I'm going to add that. Next week, it's Pittsburgh, the takeover. I like that. We're going to be taking over Pittsburgh. VZ408 developing story. We're going to talk about that. All right. Shout out to Nigel Crane in the building. All the Breezy Bunch crew members in the building. My man Boss in the building. Let's play some football because we ready. We ready. Colin, what's going on, baby? Uncle Scott is in the building. I hope you got my email. Oscar's in the building. I love it. I love it. I love it. Don't bother me. Don't worry. I won't. I promise. You know what I'm saying? I got you, bro. My man Troy is in the building as well. Mike, I don't know where your subscriber thing is, but it's gone. But I know you've been a subscriber for umpteen years. Shout out to Troy. What's going on, man? Listen, shout out to the Breezy Bunch crew. Now, check this out. How can you become a member of the Breezy Bunch crew? All you gotta do is click on that join button. It's like right there. I'm looking dead at it because I'm watching the live stream while I'm live and I see the join button. So if you clicker, boom, it'll set you up. Now each tier comes with different perks. You get to get the fruits and labor of your perks. All right. And I've been going through them. I'm going to make sure they're good going and headed into the 2023 season, all right? So make sure you go ahead and do that. Also, man, while you're here, if you're new to the stream, make sure you click that subscribe button. And I need everybody right now to click the like button. And don't forget, we got a poll question going on. Who will lose a roster spot once Nick Bosa is signed? Now, I know that sounds wrong because he's technically already under contract, but listen, he's going to be doing some type of extension to that contract, which is going to lower the cap number this year, which is going to give the 49ers a little wiggle room just in case something happens. But listen, like, comment, subscribe right here on the channel at The Wayne Breezy. Don't forget to listen to the podcast as well on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Shout out to those on Spotify podcasts. I never thought I'd be giving Spotify a shout out over Apple Podcasts, but shout out to the Spotify podcast because they got polls and questions and Q&A and all that type of stuff. Apple, Just saying, gotta step up your game, fam. All right, if you're on X, man, you can subscribe on X as well. Don't forget to follow, as well as on Instagram, Threads, TikTok, and Facebook. You can follow. You can subscribe on Instagram now. I go live every Tuesday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, between 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's really what it is. Every Tuesday, you'll see me live. I'll be live on TikToks on Thursdays, and I'll be occasionally going live on Facebook as well. The exclusive content will be back on the Patreon as soon as the season hits. I can't wait to break down things for you guys over there as well, for those that want to be a part of that. All right, now listen, don't forget, join the www.twben.com/shop. That's where you can get the latest apparel as well. I'm going to be posting articles and latest news as well. All right, so that's going to be coming. We got something for the new season. It's going to be real cool. Don't forget to check out the Faithful to the Bay single with your boy Lake City Fresh and the one and only Travis King, as well as Breezie, the 4-9 preacher. All right. Now, I like this. I like what I'm seeing. So we got some new news. The 49ers, we got some breaking news. So let's talk about it real quick. Let's get down to the nitty gritty. I tell you, the poll tracker, as far as who we're going to be signing to the practice squad, is on point. Marlon Davidson and fullback Jack Coletto cleared waivers. That's what I'm talking about, because when I talk about the surprise of who I felt like the 49ers, I knew they had to let him go, but I didn't think. I'm more surprised that Coletto is cleared waivers. I'm super surprised that Coletto has cleared waivers. All right, so that is crazy. This is dope too, because we can allow gifts. All right. Stuff is just popping up on the stream as we speak. But listen, that's the news right now per Matt Barrows. All right. Let me make sure I got this open up and good to go. Good to go. All right. Here we go. Practice squad: Jack Coletto, Marlon Davidson, T.Y. McGill, Curtis Robinson, and Leroy Watson, the offensive tackle. So the 49ers currently have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What's the combination to the safe? 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2. What movie am I talking about? 3, 3, 3, 4, 4, 4, 5, 5, 5. Now the Niners have 11 more spots to fill up. 11 more spots to fill on their practice squad. All right. So they got 5. They got 11 to go, which will total up to 16. Okay. Look, I'm telling you, the things are happening, and I'm kind of excited. So here's some of the practice squad: Marlon Davidson, T.Y. McGill, Curtis Robinson. Let me add Jack Coletto. I want to talk about that because I like Jack Coletto, and I liked what we saw from Jack Coletto. I gotta get my boy Leroy Watson. A lot of you probably like, who the hell is Leroy Watson the fourth? How about I add that to him? They gotta start putting respect on his name. All right. So listen, Marlon Davidson, defensive lineman. I liked him. I thought he had a really good camp, very good preseason. He had a sack, 5 tackles for losses, or 4 tackles for losses. Really good. All right. T.Y. McGill, another dominant force in the interior. I think the 49ers are gonna make sure that interior is good to go to stop the run throughout the regular season. All right, you got 2 guys that can do just that. Curtis Robinson, to me, he's a veteran. And so, like, hey, man, they brought another linebacker, which is funny because they kept 6 linebackers. We're going to recap the roster. So the final 53, but they kept 6. So now they got a practice squad. And I'm curious to see if my man Marcelino McCrary-Ball is going to somehow make this practice squad. It sounds like he cleared waivers. I think all the players cleared waivers, and the 49ers lost 3 players to the waivers, and we'll talk about that as well. But this is who is currently has been signed to the practice squad. Jack Coletto, in my opinion, oh man, listen, if he gets any opportunities, if something supposedly happens to Kyle Juszczyk, I like the fact that they have a player like Jack Coletto, a kid that can do a lot. All right, a kid that can do a lot. So listen, we're going to keep our eye on what's going on. And, you know, I kind of want to get to the the actual 53-man roster. But before we do that, let's talk about who the 49ers won't be seeing in 2023. 2023. Now, the 49ers haven't claimed any waivers from any other teams. And I do know that Jordan Willis has been released. And I'm curious to see if they go back and get Jordan Willis back just to add some more depth to the interior. I mean, to the edge rushing portion of their defensive line. All right. So season-ending IR. These 4 players have been placed on the season-ending IR. You got Cameron Latou. He has the knee injury. He's going to need surgery. He has the meniscus and the knee or whatnot. All right, A.J. Parker, all right, cornerback, season-ending IR. Taylor Hawkins, safety, season-ending IR. Zane Gonzalez, quad, season-ending IR. Interesting, right? Because the Niners were trying to trade him, but he ended up getting injured in that last preseason game. I think the 49ers weren't even going to have him kick at all. He was a veteran, and they knew that they could probably move him and get something for what they didn't really give up much to get him in the trade, right? So I think the Niners had a plan. Unfortunately, his injury derailed the plan, and I think Jake Moody was going to be that kicker the whole time. But Jake Moody suffered the calf? Or did Jake Moody have the quad? One of them had whatever. But at the end of the day, Moody's out. But he's probably going to be back in. He was listed day to day, and Zane Gonzalez takes the season-ending IR. So that means these players cannot return. They were placed on the IR before the roster was set. All right, and so now these 4 players will miss a season, and I think they'll try to move and trade Zane Gonzalez next year. Darrell Luter Jr., one of my favorite draft picks, 5th-round draft pick for the 49ers out of South Alabama. He's placed on the PUP. Now, he was placed on the PUP throughout the whole training camp. So he's designated for that, which means he's physically unable to play, which means he will be able to return after a 4-week stint. So after the 4 weeks, he'll be able to be clear for practice. He'll get 2 weeks to practice. Then the Niners can decide if they want to put him back on the PUP or up to the active roster. I don't know. Peachy, what's going on? I see this out here. 8-month member. Hey, faithful. Can't wait to see all of you in Pittsburgh. Sign up for the Breezie's Bunch today. About to get wild over there. Get loud and excited. It's almost time for week 1. Yeah, we're going to be in Pittsburgh. And if you think I'm wild here via internet, wait till you see how wild I am in an actual game, right? Now, but pre-game, super wild. During the game, very conservative. I'm trying to do my play-by-play analysis. I really feel like I belong on TV somewhere doing play-by-play analysis. So during the game, you'll see a bunch of tweets, play-by-play. I promise. That's kind of like how I get down. We got our first super chat contribution in the building from Jax Knox. Have a great show, everyone. Jax, thank you so much for the super chat contribution. I'm hoping you're having a great day today. I'm hoping everybody out there is having a damn great day today. Let's recap the damn 53-man roster. Any surprises out there? We lost 3 players. We lost Keith Ishmael, and we lost Deshaun Jameson, and who's the other player that we lost? 2 waivers. Hold on, I had to tweet ready, locked, and ready to go, and then I started doing stuff, whatever. So, oh, El Manning. They lost El Manning to the Cardinals. So I believe Keith Ishmael, El Manning to the Cardinals, and I believe Deshaun Jameson is going to the Carolina Panthers. I just want to give those guys a round of applause. They put out some of their best freaking film. Miss Debbie's in the building. She says, Wayne is telling the truth. I've been at the games with him. I'm very, very reserved at the game. During the game, very reserved. During the game. Before a game, we getting it in. After the game, we getting it in. During the game, super reserved. But this is going to be interesting to see who the Niners are going to, looking to bring back and add to their practice squad. So, guys, we'll keep that going. I'm going to keep this kind of post thing going. I got the tracker open and things like that. And, hey, I'm excited. Let's talk about this 49ers 53-man roster. Any surprises out there Please put your surprises in the chat. I'll go ahead and pull them up as well. And I'll kind of discuss, all right? So I'm going to go over the roster. I have it right in front of my face, so I'm actually looking at the camera. 49ers kept 3 quarterbacks. Let's go through the roster. Are you surprised that the 49ers kept 3 quarterbacks? Or did you kind of have that panned out in your head, right? Did you kind of have it panned? We got 3. We're gonna keep 3, and maybe like that's kind of like how it was. Like the whole time they were gonna go with 3 quarterbacks. I'm not surprised. I did think they would go with 2. I thought maybe possibly Brandon Allen would have cleared waivers and then they could have re-signed him to the practice squad and then could have utilized that however they wanted to do. But, they went with 3. We've been going with 3 for the past several years. The Niners went through how many quarterbacks last year? 4. So they had 3 on the roster last year as well. It just seems to be a pretty damn decent number. All right. Yeah. So my man Ball says no. He says no. Not surprised at all. Not surprised at all. Let's go through the running backs, all right? So the running backs, Christian McCaffrey, Elijah Mitchell, Jordan Mason, Ty Davis-Price. These are not in order as far as depth, but, I mean, that could be the actual depth of the 49ers running backs. And then Kyle Juszczyk as the fullback. I don't think there's any surprises there. We went with 6 wide receivers. Now, here's what I'm thinking. 2 of those roster spots will go to veteran players that were released on yesterday. 2 veteran players were released. Let's talk about those veterans. 2 vets, Kerry Hyder Jr. released. Also, I believe Austin Bryant was released. These are veteran players in the NFL that have 4 or more accrued seasons, which means that they can't be waived and then put on waivers. Once they're released, they are free agents, which means the team can right then and there start wheeling and dealing. Now, the Niners have to free up some spots, all right, for players to return. And we're talking about the wide receivers, and this is my connection. Since the 49ers are probably 9 times out of 10 going to be adding back Kerry Hyder Jr., which will get another edge and interior defensive lineman, as well as Austin Bryant out there on the edge. Since you're going to get those guys back, there's got to be a couple of spots to be open. Let's go to the wide receiver room, because as of right now, the 49ers are going to start their season. How do you guys feel about this? Well, 4 wide receivers. They're going to start their season with 4 wide receivers. Now, I do expect Chris Conley, he'll probably get picked back up. Willie Snead will get picked back up, and then they can up that roster. They can up that to 5 a week. However they deem fit. Danny Gray, Ray McLeod, and Ronnie Bell, they made the roster. Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, Juwan Jennings, you knew was going to be a lock. Ronnie Bell made himself a lock throughout the preseason. What's interesting, though, is Ray McLeod, Danny Gray are dealing with injuries, and I think they're going to get the IR. So you put those 2 on the IR. They're going to get their 4 weeks from the IR. Now, the 49ers can bring them back. Now, the new IR rules are you are allowed to put as many players on the IR as you want. They made the roster. The Niners didn't have to worry about Ray McLeod getting signed by another team or losing Danny Gray in waivers, right? So they added them to the active roster, and now the Niners can do their due diligence, put those 2 players, all right, on the injured reserve. They'll get there 4 weeks, and then they can up a couple of other people that they're going to sign from the practice squad. So this is what the Niners do. We don't know about McCrary Ball as of yet. We'll get to the linebackers, but that's the wide receiver. So 4 wide receivers? Is that all we need a week? I'm cool with it. I like the 4. Deebo, Ayuk, Jennings, Bell. Make that a lock. I'm good. And then, like I said, after the first 4 weeks of the season, and if the Niners decide to designate those players and bring them off the IR, they can, or they could leave them there. They could leave them on the IR, but I think it's in waves when you can pull them off. All right, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Let's get to the tight end room. Any surprises in the tight end room, guys? I'm like, no. Those were the 4 I had. I did it on the Nitty Gritty show. Kittle, Warner, Dwelly, Willis, Cameron Latou, IR season ending. They didn't have to worry about losing him, so they stashed him. That's what I call a stash. Yeah, that's kind of like how I looked at it. No surprises to me. Offensive tackles, we'll do the offensive linemen. So the 49ers have 9 offensive linemen, and I have them broken down. Position, tackles, guards, centers. All right, let's talk about this. Trent Williams, Matt Pryor, Jalen Moore, Colton McKivitz. Those are going to be the 49er tackles. Any surprises in the tackle room? For me, yes. I'm surprised Matt Pryor made this roster. Now, veteran guy, they signed Matt Pryor, from the Colts and whatnot as a free agent. And I'm just like, Now, getting all the, I kind of watched him play. I didn't really get to see, I didn't see much from him. Did you? Did anybody get good film on Matt Pryor? I didn't. I didn't think he was that great. So interesting. All right. So tackle room, cool. Guards here. Aaron Banks, John Feliciano, Spencer Burford. Look, Feliciano is your utility offensive lineman. And he had to make this roster. You went and signed him in free agency. You lost Daniel Brunskill in free agency. You got John Feliciano. Okay. And I actually feel like he's going to be fine. They had him playing a lot of center. They had Nick Zakelj playing guard. Zakelj looked bad as a guard. But Feliciano looked bad as a center. How I felt like, and see, remember we talked about training camp preseason, like some of these guys might be out of position because they want to see if they can really hold up to the test at playing out of the position. I thought they were weak out of position, but I think as a guard or maybe as a right tackle or whatever or whatnot, I think John Feliciano is going to be just fine. All right. So I feel like he's the swing guard. And then as far as the offensive tackles, you got Matt Pryor and Jalen Moore, which will alternate your swing tackles every week or whatnot. We'll see what happens. All right. Let's go with the centers too. Brindle, starting center. All right. They signed him as a free agent. Nick Zakelj. Now, I feel like this is where Nick Zakelj will find a way to thrive back at the center position. I still think they'll kind of get him in there some guard work. But I think Nick Zakelj as a center, he's going to thrive there. And I feel like they're going to develop. I was talking to Cam Inman, and he was like, he feels like, he said that the Niners want to develop him. And so that's why he made the roster over like Il Manning or some of the guys that we lost. Because I didn't want to lose Il Manning. I thought Il Manning, to me, out of all the offensive linemen other than Trent Williams, who didn't play, was the best offensive lineman throughout the preseason. Easily. And you can see because he got picked up. Super easily, right? My man Niner Rich says something. He says, one of them offensive linemen will be gone once Bosa signs. I say Matt Pryor. Hey, make sure you get your vote in. Boom, 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 boom. I feel like the Niners only need one swing tackle. They got two of them. They got Matt Pryor. They got my man Jalen Moore. I think Jalen Moore would get the nod. He's the veteran to me as a 49er. So we'll see what happens. All right. And that's our offense. That's our offense. Nice offense. Let's get to the defense. All right. The defense currently on the roster. There's no Nick Bosa. No Bosa. Can't count him for a roster spot. He's on that not reporting list. He didn't report to practice, so he doesn't count. So 3 edge rushers as of right now. All right, Drake Jackson, Cleveland Field, the rookie Robert Bill Jr., the 5th-round pick. 49ers had 2 5th-round picks, Darrell Luter Jr., Robert Bill Jr. They like drafting juniors. I'm starting to realize that. All right, so I'm not sure. I know they didn't want to lose Robert Bill Jr. They would have lost him quick on the waiver wire. So they had to make sure he made the roster spot, even though he didn't do anything. But I think his upside is going to be phenomenal with the San Francisco 49ers. Drake Jackson, you saw ticks of him just progressing. Cleveland Farrell is the best edge rusher not named Nick Bosa on the 49ers, so that's good. And not a lot of sacks, but the pressures are there, right? Which we should be used to. We got pressures last year from Amina and Samson Ebukam. I don't think losing those 2 guys is going to be a big thing. I think I like what I've seen from Cleveland Farrell. The interior, this is where it got interesting. They kept 5 guys: Javon Hargrave, Eric Armstead, Javon Kinlaw, Kalia Davis. To me, this is his rookie season, even though this is his sophomore season. But he was on the NFI list last year, which means he was ineligible to play all year long because he was on that NFI list. So he didn't play. Darrell Luter Jr. might get that same treatment this year, being on the PUP. because he got hurt during actual NFL camp. All right, so and then Kevin Givens, my boy Mose knows. He told me he liked what he saw from Kevin Givens as far as what he's been able to do consistently with the team. He's a matchup guy, but if you ask him to stop the run, that's not his game. But the Niners liked him, and he made their actual 53-man roster. So congratulations to those. So you're looking at 8 defensive linemen now. Nick Bosa, once he signed, somebody's got to go. They had 53 already, and right now they're filling up their practice squad. And if you guys get any updates on the practice squad players, please let me know. Again, we have 5 guys on it as of right now. Did anybody tell me that movie I was talking about when I read the combination? Just curious. All right, let's get to the linebackers. We kept 6 of these mofo low-dose showdowns around Towns, Fred Warner, Dre Greenlaw, Orrin Burks. The 2 rookies, D. Winters and Jalen Graham. Congratulations. And Demetrius Flanagan Fowles. All right. Again, you got depth at the linebacker. So you got Fred Warner as your starting Mike, Greenlaw as your starting Will. Burks will probably be the starting Sam. Then you got Winters, in my opinion, depth under Greenlaw. Flanagan Fowles, depth under the Burks. And then Jalen Graham, who can play strong side, which is the Sam, as well as the Mike, will be under Fred Warner. He's going to get tutelage under Fred Warner, y'all. That's going to be dangerous. That's dangerous. Shout out to everybody that's watching. I appreciate you guys. Make sure you hit that like button, all right? Do your boy a favor. And if you can, grab the link and put it out there in the universe and tell everybody to join the show. I'm sure there's a couple of other shows going on, but I appreciate you guys right now for holding it down, baby. Shout out to you guys. All right, let's go. Couple of more positions I wanted to get through, and then we're going to get to the gist of the show. All right, safeties. We kept, Talanoa Hufanga, Tashawn Gibson, George Odom, Jair Brown. The rookie made it as well. So there you have it for safeties. Huff, who's dealing with the Baker cyst, we'll keep our eye on that. Gibson, all right. George Odom may be stepping into that starting spot if Huff isn't available to go week 1. Not putting anything out there. I'm just saying that was the latest report. He has a Baker cyst. It's day to day. He has fluid behind the knee. That's what a Baker cyst is. Fluid built up behind the knee, which can lead to a meniscus injury, which is what Cameron Latou is out for the season. So just keep your eyes and ears open to that. Jair Brown, again, the rookie that made the squad, the All-Pro special teams player, George Odom as well. Cornerbacks, here we go. Now, I feel like this is where everybody's scratching their head, because Deshaun Jameson, who had a great camp. Okay, great camp. Shout out to Eddie G. He says, what's up, y'all? Just an update. We are good in here. Southeast Georgia. A lot of rain. Prayers up to all those down in Florida. We'll be praying for all those down in Florida. A buddy of ours, of everybody's, my man, Jesse, he does live in Florida, and he may be experiencing the hurricane. So make sure you keep Jesse Naylor in your prayers as well. Not sure if he's going to be able to stream or whatever, but listen, keep him and his family in your prayers. He's one of us. He knows, he does what we do, and we love him. So make sure you keep him and his family and everybody else that lives down in the area that may be affected by the hurricane. Let's just keep them in our prayers. All right. Let's get back to the cornerbacks. Mooney Ward, Deommodore Lenoir, Samuel Womack III. Oh, Jesse's streaming right now. My guy, he's a soldier. I love him. All right. I just know he lives down in that area. So I don't know where the hurricane is affected or who is affecting, but I just say pray for everyone at this point. You know, that's you can't ever have enough prayer. All right. Ambry Thomas and Isaiah Oliver. All right. Pray for Peachy's family. Her family lives down there, and they may be affected by it. All right. So make sure you just keep people in your prayers. I think that's the whole preface of that. 5 cornerbacks: Ward, Lenoir, Womack III, Ambry Thomas, Isaiah Oliver. Out of those 5, are you feeling like none of those guys should be on this roster? Are you guys feeling like out of those 5, none of them should be on this roster? Because I'm waiting. Because this is what I'm here for. I'm here to clap back. I'm here to give you guys some substance. I'm here to give you guys some stuff. All right. Now, again, Deshaun Jameson claimed by the Carolina Panthers, so we can count him out. Here we go. My man Oscar wants to set it off on the left. Hey, set it off on the right. Hey, set it off. Hey, set it off. Ambry Thomas. All right. So I know a lot of people are like Ambry Thomas. Like, how did he make this roster? Guys, look, Ambry Thomas, believe it or not, no matter what the type of reports that were coming out, like none of them were very negative. And you kind of heard Coach Steve Wilkes put it out there in the universe. He put the good news, like, he's having a good camp. Now we need to see what it's like with the pads is on. Now listen, Ambry had a penalty in one of the games and gave up a touchdown in another game and things like that. So yeah, I mean, it's going to happen. He got beat on the double move, right? He got beat on a double move. It happens. Oh, well, the question is, what happens after that? What happens after that? Can you push that off, push it to the side and things like that? So it's going to be, look, I don't think Ambry Thomas is a surprise to me. I felt like Ambry Thomas was definitely going to be, was going to make the roster the whole time. He came into camp mentally ready, physically ready. His whole body makeup looked different, and it's more about him just getting the reps, getting out there and doing what the coaches are saying, right? And so we got to get to this one. Collie, look, this is what I love. Ambry earned his spot, unlike Oliver. Now, usually, Collie is giving me shit about Michigan players, but for some reason, he's not. He said that Ambry earned his spot, and I like that because I feel like he did. Ambry has earned his spot. I feel like Oliver is here for a reason. I mean, not Oliver. Yeah, Isaiah Oliver. We just don't know. It's not just the money. It is part of it, but we still don't know. I feel like Oliver is going to do damage throughout the regular season. Let's just kind of like push the pause. The season hasn't started yet, right? But once the season starts, we can fully assess these players and kind of break them down, all right? And then you got your kicker, Jake Booty, your punter, Mitch Wisnowski, and Tabor Pepper is the long snapper. And that, my friends, is the 53-man roster of the San Francisco 49ers for the 2023 season. I like it. I like it a lot, all right? Look. Big reports are coming out, right? Because there was one person not on that roster. His name is Nick Bosa. I explained to you why he wasn't on the roster. He's on the not report list, right? And so he doesn't take up a spot. Now, there's a new report that came out this morning, and we're going to get to it. But it started with a rumor about Nick Bosa may get traded. All right. And so there was a rumor that went out from a person that has a source on Reddit. And listen, I don't if I put out something that says rumor, let me speak for me. Right. If I put out something, first of all, I'm labeling it rumor. OK, I'm labeling it as a rumor. All right. Now, it's up to you to decipher if you're going to allow that rumor to invest. So the first thing is, if you don't want to see it, just don't look at it. Don't open it up. It's like that bullcrap email you get. Sign up and you'll get $100. Don't, because you already know. But I put it out there for people to just be aware. When I put out a rumor, that is not me saying that this is my take on Nick Bosa. I have been on the pay Nick Bosa train since the beginning of time. So it's not like I'm saying, oh, I want Nick Bosa traded. No, why would I want that? Nick Bosa is the greatest football player in the league next to Trent Williams. See what I did there? So my point is, like, that's not it. But I do want to make you guys aware of the stuff that's going down and how it can be a possibility. Look, we are the San Francisco 49ers. A lot of shit that happens that don't make sense happens. We can't make it up. And no, I'm not comparing this to the DeForest Buckner trade because the times of the trades and the things that happened were different, but the scenario is the same. They needed to. Are they going to make DeForest Buckner one of the top defensive linemen in the league? Are they going to pay for that? And the Niners said yes, and then all of a sudden they didn't. It wasn't what Buckner wanted, and then they traded him. But that was around draft time, and so the Niners were able to recoup something for the draft for that season. That recoupment is Javon Kinlaw, but I understand. Okay, I understand that it is what it is. Let's get to the rumor. I want to read it because I just want you guys to be aware of what the hell is out there. And it doesn't mean that there's no validity to it. It's just, this is a take. This is from a person, Josh _ Rosen. Don't know this person from the can of paint. But on Reddit, inside source, 49ers may trade Nick Bosa to an unnamed AFC team. Hey, I'm the same Redditor, I didn't even know you could be a Redditor, who broke the Christian McCaffrey to the 49ers trade news before it happened. This is a recent development, and this is happening right now. There has been breakdown and negotiations between the 49ers and Nick Bosa. Bosa is asking for a lot more than the 49ers budgeted, which sounds real, sounds fair, right? And essentially has all the leverage in the current situation. 49ers threatening trade him to an unnamed AFC team if Bosa doesn't sign their current offer within next week. Unnamed team prepared to pay Bosa what he wants. Reminder that the similar situation happened with DeForest Buckner. They were far apart in numbers and 49ers cut ties. SF reportedly has been working on the parameters of a blockbuster trade for several weeks. All right, let me just, number one, you got to get Reddit. I mean, you got to get Grammarly, my friend. It'll just help make the context. It just makes your writing better. Trust me. Yeah, I think I have a promo code for that. So hit me up. I got you. Anyway, look, I expect takes to come out. I expect false reports to come out. I expect rumors to come out. I expect it, right? Because you're talking about one of the most mega players in the NFL, right? It happens. Trade talks happens all the time. Doesn't mean that they pick up any steam, but it does not mean that some teams haven't picked up the phone to call John Lynch and the San Francisco 49ers and say, hey, I know you guys may be struggling to sign Nick Bosa to his extension, but hey, we got what it takes to pay him. This is what we're willing to give up. And I'm sure the 49ers are doing their due diligence and hanging up the damn phone in the face, right? That's what I would do. Unless it's like 10 first-round picks. See, the way I do is I start my barters high, right? So if I really don't want something, if I really don't want to do something, let's say it's a gig, right? Because that's what I do outside of this, right? Let's say somebody wants me to do a gig. Let's say they want me to do a wedding. And I'm like, when is the wedding? What time is the wedding? Where's the wedding? Get all that factored in. And once I do that, if I really don't want to do the wedding, I just put the price up so high to where I know they're not going to pay. But you know what? Sometimes that bites me in the ass and they end up paying, and I'd be like, dang. But it's good for me financially and the band that I got to pay. But at the end of the day, all I'm saying is there's no validity to this, but let's just keep an open mind that anything with the San Francisco 49ers can happen. That's all I wanted to say. I don't believe in this. I'm not giving it any life other than the fact that I'm making you aware of what's going down. But what I'm trying to say is I don't know that person from a can of paint. I don't know who that person's sources is. I don't know. I could have easily written something like that, and people will be like, who the hell is Wayne Breezie? Right? I get it. But that doesn't mean that it doesn't mean it's not a possibility. That's all I'm saying. It doesn't mean it is not a possibility. You see that the organization is getting kind of like bum rushed. You know what I'm saying? Like Jimmy Garoppolo does his interview. They ask him about what happened to Trey Lance and this is that and the third. And he pretty much just shitted on the way Kyle Shanahan was doing things. And it's funny because we knew. We just closed our eyes and said you got to do what the coach is saying to do. So it can be interesting to see what's going to happen. Now, listen, today, currently, there's a report by Jay Dumas Report. All right. Now, he works for Bleacher Report. He has ties with 95.7 The Game. And matter of fact, they did an interview with him this morning and he came out and he spoke. And of course, Grammarly fixed up all the grammatical errors. So I'm going to read it, even though it's still in quotations. It might be a little bit different, but I expect that they get a deal done in the next few days. Let's break this down right there because I expect that they get a deal done in the next few days. That's what I was told from his source. It's funny because nobody's naming sources. Got it. No problem. Maybe they can't. I don't know. I was told he can't be had in a trade. And he will be there week 1 They're just ironing out the details. Do you say ironing or ironing? Ironing? I don't know. Whoever taught me phonics, shame on you. That's a dumb word anyway, because it's spelled iron and we pronounce it iron. Whatever. And this is Jay Dumas' report via X or via Twitter or whatnot. Then he went on, he got interviewed by 95.7 The Game, and he reconfirmed it and things like that. And so here's the cool thing, right? We all believe Nick Bosa is going to be signed, but you got Ian Rappaport on the Pat McAfee show saying, hey, they're not even close. There's no deal imminent, period. But it will get done. That was how he said it. There's no deal. They're not even close, but it will get done. So I think as 49er fans, we know the deal is going to get done, right? The question is when, right? Because the season starts next week, and we travel to Pittsburgh, and we got to play the Steelers, and we need the Nick Bosa. I'm not saying he's the make or break all, but I want my best defensive player out on the field, just like I want my best offensive player, Trent Williams, out on the field. That's what you want. You want that. You want the team to be ready for that. Now, here's my take on the whole situation, and I have time to open up the phone lines. Right. Now, listen, today you come on my show, you get 3 minutes, I'm Xing it out. I will just cut you off. Get your clock out, time your clock, 3 minutes. Here's my take, though. What if Nick Bosa's camp, to speed up the process, had somebody put out that report on Reddit? What if? I mean, Deebo Samuel's agent made Deebo Samuel request a trade to help the 49ers speed up the process. Oh my gosh, I had a dope-ass explanation, and I think I lost it. Anyway, I was on Twitter, and somebody hit me up on Twitter. I don't have it pulled up. I had it pulled up, and I started clicking on update trackers, so my apologies. But he had a very dope explanation on why it's taking so long. And damn it, how can I find it? Hold on. Give me a second, y'all. I commented on it because he responded to my post. Where you at? Where you at? I don't see it. I don't see it. Oh, anyway, if you're on X and you go through my whatever, it's there. And there's some tax situation going on. What's going on? Niner Sickness Podcast in the building. There's some type of tax situation going on. And it's crazy, right? Because Nick Bosa is not trying to pay California taxes. If he waits a certain time, he's exempt from paying the California taxes, and then he'll be stuck to paying the Florida taxes. And I was like, wait a minute, this could be very valid. Very valid. Very valid. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. This would make me not sign either. Shit. I ain't trying to pay California taxes. This is why players don't want to play in California in the first place. Niners, y'all need to move. I'm just playing. But my point is, it was a dope valid, and it was actually something real. It's called the 181-day rule. And I'm sitting there saying to myself, what the hell? All right, the name of the person is Louis Padilla. All right. And he sent me a comment. So let me get it out because I want to read exactly what he said. All right. And then you guys can go and do the research. And if you don't believe it, he says he waited out for tax purposes. So when he signs his guarantee bonus, he doesn't have to pay California taxes on state taxes on top of the jock. I don't know if he meant the word jock, and federal taxes as well. But it will be tax-free under the Florida bracket because he waited out their residency term. Florida's 181 days rule. Look up their rule. It's a real rule. I was like, oh, shoot. I didn't break down the rule. I ain't have enough time because this popped up like 4 minutes before the show started. But this may just be it. I wonder if this is the same reason Joey Bosa held out until the damn near day one of the NFL. Curious to know. This could be a Bosa thing, not a 49er thing. You know what I mean? And so it may not just be nice, just money. It may be the tax on the money, right? Like you ever go somewhere and you like, oh man, that candy bar is $1, but their tax is like 10%. I'll just wait till I get to the next state and get the candy bar where the tax might be 6%. Like that, like it could be something simple as that, but in big numbers, it's crazy. You know, I'm not saying this is the reason. And now Joey Bosa didn't sign, if I'm not mistaken, until like August. If I'm not mistaken, that was the report I read. It was damn near this week. It was this week. This week. Where does Joey Bosa play, y'all? Where was Joey Bosa drafted and where does he play? I'm just asking. Sounds like he played for the Chargers, and where the hell are they located is my question. So it could be something like that. And I'm not saying that's the answer. I like Louis Padilla. Shout out to you for reaching out to me and giving me that explanation. That was something that I never thought of. But here's the good news. The good news is Nick Bosa, according to Jay Dumas' report, is going to be signing, and he expects. Excuse me. Hold up. I don't got the damn reverse button. Damn it. Hold up. He expects. I do not want to put words in his mouth. He expects Nick Bosa to sign in the next few days, per the source. Sorry if I messed that up. I hope I didn't. People read. He expects Nick Bosa to sign in the next few days, per the source. We still don't know if Nick Bosa is going to continue to hold out. We still don't know if the team may look to trade him because they don't want to pay him and they're far away. We don't know. We don't know. And now, luckily, we can go off of the energy of an expectation. Well, you know what? I expect the San Francisco 49ers. Jax, where you at? 17 and mother. Oh, that's what I expect. I expect it. Feel me? I expect it. So we'll see if it goes down. I'm praying. I promise you that is going to go down. Listen, I want to get your thoughts on the Nick Bosa now that you got some new information. It could be taxes. It could be they're far apart. What do you think it is? It could be the number. Are the 49ers willing to make Nick Bosa the highest paid non-quarterback? Like, I want to know your thoughts. Are you guys ready? Here we go. There's the link. If you're on Facebook, Instagram, bada boom, bada bing, whatever it is, click on the link. All right. I'm just saying it's an expectation and it's possibility that this expectation doesn't happen. Look, I'm so optimistic and I'm so willing to set myself up for, I always prepare for the worst. I don't know what type of person you want to call me, but it's weird. I prepare for the worst so that way, if it's not the worst, it's better than what I prepared for. Call it what you want. I got my man ED. You ready to jump on, fam? 3 minutes. Here we go. Boom. What's going on, fam?
Hey, what's up, Breezie? How are you?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. So what are your thoughts? First, I want to get your thoughts on the roster, and then I want to get your thoughts on Nick Bosa.
Yeah, and at some point, if you don't mind, I'd like to talk about, obviously, we haven't talked since the Trey Lance trade.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of a big...
Start with that.
Kind of a big deal. They just turned 3 first-round picks and a third-round pick into a fourth-round pick, and people seem like they just want to sweep it under the rug. Oh, this is no big deal. Yeah, the worst trade in the history of the NFL. This is really no big deal. We shouldn't really, put it on Kyle and John. We should just ignore it. No. It's all part of the picture. As far as Bosa, why did they sign Javon Hargrave to over $20 million a year if they weren't sure if they had the cap space for Nick Bosa? Especially when Javon Hargrave's not a run stuffer. Javon Kinlaw hasn't proven he can stay healthy. We've seen in the preseason they've had a hard time stopping the run. You know what I mean? I'm starting to become concerned that maybe they've been playing games with the salary cap the last couple of years. I'm concerned maybe that they might have played themselves this time. They might have gotten a little too close to the edge and might have maybe underestimated how much Nick Bosa might want. And they said, okay, we got this amount, allocated for Nick Bosa. Therefore, we can sign Javon Hargrave. They sign Hargrave. Bosa comes in and says, no, this is what I want, and I won't sign for anything less. And it doesn't fit into what they had allocated for him. And, I mean, why else is it dragging on this long? I don't think you would want Nick Bosa to be out this long. I understand, he doesn't really need to be there for training camp, but you're going to need him there for week 1. So I think, I don't know. I hope that they got the cap space to sign him. You should have expected reigning defensive player of the year at his age, playing his position. He's going to want quarterback money. If you didn't intend on paying him that, then should have made some other arrangements. Maybe in the third round, instead of drafting a kicker, you draft a defensive line, you draft edge rusher if you don't plan on keeping Nick Bosa. So I don't know. It seems obviously it hasn't been managed well if he still hasn't been signed yet. But I want to talk about the Trey Lance thing because just real quick, I know I only got like a minute or two left, but just overall, in terms of like overall roster construction, if you look at the way this team is drafted since the moment that they came in, you look at their first round picks, it's a lot of defensive players. First year, Solomon Thomas and Reuben Foster, both defensive players. Eric Armstead, Nick Bosa, Javon Kinlaw, they have prioritized defense in the first round. And my thinking is that when Kyle, his last job before he came to the 49ers, he was the offensive coordinator for the Falcons. They had a 28-3 lead in the Super Bowl and they lost. I think Kyle came to the 49ers and he said, listen, I'm a great offensive coach. I can win with any quarterback. I just need a good defense. We're going to build the defense and I'll coach up the offense. So far, that strategy has not worked. If you look at the last 30 years in the NFL, between either having a great defense or having a franchise quarterback, the franchise quarterback is going to win the Super Bowl 9 times out of 10. I can only think of 2 examples with a great defense with an average quarterback that's won the Super Bowl. The Ravens in 2001, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in 2004. I know the Ravens also won the Super Bowl again. I think it was 2012 or 2013 against the 49ers. But they had Joe Flacco at that point. Even the Ravens at that point understood, hey, we won a Super Bowl with Trent Dilfer, but we're not going to be able to stay competitive without a franchise quarterback. So they went up and they got Joe Flacco in the draft. I thought they learned this lesson when they traded up for Trey Lance. Apparently not, because they just traded away for a 4th-round pick. Sam Darnold's a backup quarterback. Everyone knows they're not winning a Super Bowl with Sam Darnold. Probably not winning a Super Bowl with Brandon Allen. Now it's all on Brock Purdy's shoulders, who, with all due respect, he played a half season last year, and they didn't win the Super Bowl because he got injured. He hasn't made it through a full season healthy yet. I think that they absolutely rushed to judgment when they traded away Trey Lance. They want to make Brock Purdy the starter before they had enough information on him. I saw a passing chart on First Things First, which showed Brock Purdy was very much more successful throwing to the left side of the field than the right side of the field. Apparently, the Cowboys figured this out and started a game plan for him. The Cowboys in the playoff game held Brock Purdy to 214 yards and 0 touchdowns. Now, I've had people tell me, oh, the Cowboys have a really good defense. As if you can win a Super Bowl without having to beat either franchise quarterbacks or great defenses. You can't. I don't want to hear Kyle. I don't want to hear any excuses this year. This is the quarterback room that Kyle wanted. I do not want to hear, oh, well, the other team had a great defense. What did you expect? The other team had a franchise quarterback. What did you expect? Oh, he's just Mr. Irrelevant. What do you expect? No, he's not Mr. Irrelevant anymore. He's not the third-string quarterback anymore. People keep holding Brock Purdy to the same standard they did last year. Last year, the standard was the third-string quarterback, Mr. Irrelevant. Just don't crash the bus and we're happy. That is the standard for the third-string quarterback. That's not the standard for QB1. The standard for QB1 on a team where the defense was number 1 in passing yards and passing touchdowns allowed last year, with all these weapons on offense, the standard for quarterback 1 is to make plays and to enable us to win the Super Bowl. If Brock Purdy can't do that, I think a lot of the responsibility got to fall on Kyle because he chose this guy, and he didn't even keep Trey Lance's insurance policy. If defenses have figured Brock Purdy out, what are we going to do? Put Sam Darnold in there? Does anyone actually think that's a good idea? I think it was a massive mistake. And all they talk about is how, oh, we got to win now. We can't play Trey Lance as a rookie because we need to win now. But yet we will trade Trey Lance. We will trade our third-string quarterback a year after we had 4 quarterbacks get injured for a draft pick next year, and that's going to help us win now? I just don't see it. I'm starting to lose faith in Kyle. I'm starting to think that his strategy is to build a great defense and have an average quarterback. And if you look at the recent history of the NFL, the absolute ceiling for that type of roster construction is 1 Super Bowl at best. You need a franchise quarterback if you're going to be competitive to win multiple Super Bowls. I thought Kyle got it when they traded up for Trey Lance. Now it seems we're right back where we were with Jimmy Garoppolo. We just need a game manager who doesn't crash the bus. We can win with defense. We can win. The problem is when you get to the playoffs, you start playing really good teams. And if you get to the Super Bowl, you're going to be playing a franchise quarterback. You're going to be playing either Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert, Trevor Lawrence, maybe even Aaron Rodgers. And if Brock Purdy can't get it done, I don't want to hear any excuses about how, well, he was the last pick in the draft. How is he going to beat Patrick Mahomes? That's an excellent question. How is he going to beat Patrick Mahomes? I'm not so sure that he can. Maybe we should get a quarterback that actually can.
Listen, that was the hottest take I've had in a minute.
I've been holding it in. I've been holding it in ever since the Trey Lance trade. It's weird. I went on Crocker's show the other day and somebody in the chat said, like, oh, this guy's getting a little emotional. I thought about it. I realized, you know what? Like, you're kind of right. Like, I admit it. Like, I am a little emotional about this. Like, I'm a little annoyed about this whole situation. It seems to go completely contrary to common sense. Like I said, it's a year after you had 4 quarterbacks get injured, and you think, oh, we don't need 3, we're good with 2. Like, and not even 2. I don't count Sam Darnold as a starting quarterback. He's got 90 turnovers in 55 games. So really, you have 1 quarterback. You're pinning all your hopes on Brock Purdy. With all due respect, there's a reason he went in the 7th round. The 49ers had 3 6th-round picks the year that Brock Purdy went in the 7th round. The 49ers passed on Brock Purdy 3 times in the 6th round. There is a reason for that. He's played very well. If he is successful as a late-round draft pick, it is going to be the exception. It is not the rule. People keep talking about, oh, well, Tom Brady did it. Yeah, that's 1 in a million. That is not normal. If that was normal, teams would just wait until the 7th round to draft quarterbacks. There's a reason that quarterbacks go in the 1st round. There's a reason that other quarterbacks go in the 7th round. I'm sorry. I hope that things work out, Brock Purdy, but they got all their eggs in that basket. If he can't play great, if he can't stay healthy, it's going to be another year where they get to the playoffs, maybe win some playoff games, but eventually they're going home, and then it's just, what are the excuses this year? Oh, we didn't have enough. The quarterback wasn't good enough. I do not want to hear that. Kyle had his pick of the litter. He could have kept Jimmy Garoppolo. He could have rolled with Trey Lance. He could have stayed at 12 or maybe traded up to like 8 or 9 and drafted Mac Jones. He could have waited for another quarterback to become available in free agency. There were a lot of options. This is Kyle's plan, and if it doesn't work, I think it's got to be on Kyle. I don't want to hear any excuses about, well, I mean, he doesn't have a franchise quarterback, because Kyle is telling us by trading away Trey Lance that Brock Purdy is his franchise quarterback. And I'm not saying that it has to work this year, but if it doesn't work in the next couple of years, we got to start to consider if this strategy of having a great defense with a system quarterback is ever going to work, because if you look at the last 30 years of the NFL history, it usually doesn't work. Usually, like I said, 9 times out of 10, the franchise quarterback is going to beat a great defense. Patrick Mahomes, they traded away Tyreek Hill, and he won the Super Bowl the next year. Why? Because a franchise quarterback can uplift the players around them. They can elevate the players around them. A system quarterback needs the players around them to elevate them. If Trent Williams gets injured, if George Kittle gets injured, if Deebo Samuel gets injured, is Brock Purdy the caliber of quarterback that can raise the offense through his gameplay alone, or does he need everything around him to be going right? And if it's not going right, are we going to come up short again? That's my concern. I hate to be negative. I'm usually optimistic about these kind of things, but I got to be honest about the way I say it. It looks like they just want to have a great defense and an average quarterback, and that usually doesn't win Super Bowls.
I appreciate you for jumping on, E, man, and I appreciate the take. That was a hot take. I like it. I like it a lot, man. Thanks for joining.
All right, thanks, Breezie. Have a nice day.
You too, bro. Said some fire stuff. I mean, whether you guys agree with it or disagree with it, that's up to you out there. But listen, I thought he said some things. I mean, to move up, to get a guy that you feel like it can potentially be the franchise. Usually when you trade up and draft a quarterback with a team that's ready to win now, 9 times out of 10, they're going to turn into something great. Unfortunately for Trey Lance, that didn't happen. But what happened with Brock Purdy was like, we've never really seen it before, right? Like, is it real? Maybe that's what Kyle Shanahan is doing this year. Maybe what he saw was like a magical dream, and he wants to know if it can be real. Like, can it be, if we up this, if we do this, if we get better here, can it be even better? If we protect them better, if we add more of this and add more of that. I don't think Brock Purdy's, I don't question his ability to be able to play in the NFL. Like, that's not that's unquestionable. Like, the dude balled out. All right. Like, he balled out with the 49ers. I think the only thing you can question with Brock Purdy is, is he healthy? Really healthy? Is there any, fatigue in that arm after this surgery and things like that? So that's the only thing I'm pretty much monitoring. But man, that was a great take. I haven't seen any other callers. So I know y'all were talking about he was on for 6 to 8 minutes. Hey, that's because nobody else joined. So that's our time for the show. I said, hey, put the link in here. Y'all click on the link. Then I would have been manufacturing the 3 minutes. But since none of y'all decided to jump on, he took up all y'all time. But listen, it's interesting to follow. And I appreciate that hot take, man. Interesting. But listen, I do believe in the 49ers. I do feel like that the 49ers are going to be able to go out there and do some things, do some good damage this year, with the quarterback, with the team that they have, with this 53-man roster. The 49ers will do damage with the 53-man roster. The question is, will Nick Bosa be on that roster? And when will Nick Bosa be on that roster? Come week 1. I think that's really the question. We got some good stuff today. Shout out to Jay Duma's report on X for putting that out there. Kind of got the faithful out of the rut, right? Kind of got the faithful out of this rut. A lot of stuff going down and things like that, but that's what he did. Nick Bosa, I expect Nick Bosa, I want to make sure I'm saying what he said. I expect Nick Bosa, all right, to sign in the next few days. Keyword expect. Per his source, right? So that's what we're expecting. So, guys, if Nick Bosa doesn't sign in the next few days, how angry will you be at him? I'm just curious because we are an angry fan base. Yes, we are. A couple of questions. I want to get to the super chat. Jax, while I got y'all attention, she's back to 17-0. This girl changed. She was 13-4 last week. On Monday, I believe it was 13-4. She's been 17-0. Up until the Trey Lance trade. Then Monday, she was 13-4. Now she's back on the 17-0. I don't know. Maybe she's seen something. Maybe she's the source and she knows that Nick Bosa is on his way or something like that. So we're gonna see how it all pans out, man. Let's get to that. Let's get to the poll question. Right. I'm gonna go ahead and end the poll. Now we know Nick Bosa is returning to the roster, right? Like we're not gonna sit there and say he's not going to return. The real question is when, right? You know what I'm saying? My man Mike says, expect Bosa to come back like you expect Jesus to come back. They've been telling me he's on his way back soon since I was 2. I'm not saying he's not coming tonight, tomorrow, in a minute. I'm just saying, since I was 2. Who will lose a roster spot once Nick Bosa is signed? Matt Pryor, Kalia Davis, Robert Bill Jr., Jalen Moore. 51% of you guys say that the 49ers knock off one of those tackles. Matt Pryor, that means you guys are claiming that Jalen Moore is greater than Matt Pryor. I don't know how much of a big claim that is, but that's what you're saying. That's what I got from that data. All right. I do want to send a shout out to my GM, my man Tony. He been hitting me up via text. I don't check my phone during the shows unless it's like a phone call or whatever. So it's just part of presentation. I like to just look at you guys in the camera and I try to keep things in front of me. But I apologize, Tony. You were texting me. I did not know. Okay, and my bad. So you gotta let me know when you home. Let's go through some of y'all takes out here. Niner Nation, I think we cut Brandon Allen for Bosa. Nah, I think the offensive lineman. When I look at the surplus and I say where can the Niners spare a player? Now I could be wrong. You could be right. I just don't agree with cutting the quarterback. They wanted 3 quarterbacks on the roster. They've been keeping 3 quarterbacks on the roster for the past couple of seasons, and the only area I feel like they can spend would either be the linebacking area or the offensive tackle area, honestly. You got 2 swing tackles, you only need 1. So it's got to be one. It's got to be Jalen Moore or it's got to be Matt Pryor. It's got to be one of those guys. Yes, Leroy Watson is on the practice squad. Let's just do a quick recap. Any new practice squad updates? It kind of went stout. So this is who we have as of so far. Hold on one second. Corey Luciano, where did he sign? All right, so the 49ers just brought back center Corey Luciano. He's going to be on the 49ers practice squad per Chris Babcock. All right, per Chris Babcock on X. So let me go ahead and add him to there. We do have that going around. So here's the practice squad tracker. We'll go through him one more time before we jump out. So Corey Luciano played center. So the Niners now have their practice squad center. Look at how they're building. They're building another offense. The question is, who's going to be the practice squad QB? No one's asking that question but your boy Breezie. So if anybody starts asking that question, I was first. I'm just saying. Who's going to be the practice squad QB? Is it Brandon Allen? Do you bump him down to the practice squad and then because of the new quarterback ruling on game day, you activate him and he doesn't count? Ooh. See, the Niners are playing chess, right? They're taking what they got. So, again, if you guys missed the beginning of the show, Marlon Davidson, T.Y. McGill, Curtis Robinson, linebacker, Jack Coletto, the fullback extraordinaire, Leroy Watson, the fourth offensive tackle, and Corey Luciano, center, will be back on the 49ers practice squad as of now. Let's see, we got a couple questions out there. Sam Darnold has to go. Wayne Breezie, if Brock Purdy gets injured, we're in big trouble. Yeah, I don't trust Sam Darnold, and I have every right not to. I've watched them play. I'm just saying, we watched them play. No news, Nigel, on McCreary Ball. Interesting. I don't think they cut Clayton Tune. They cut Colt McCoy. I think they cut Colt McCoy. All right. We're going to see. Quantrez Knight, will he resign? We're going to find out. 916_49ers. It's going to be interesting. But I think the waivers time has passed. I think players are now free agents. Once they clear waivers, they're free agents. The Niners did their due diligence. They didn't claim any players off of waivers. They waited till the waiver wire passed, and then they went and signed these guys. Crazy. Stephen Fox, Breezy, do you feel like the three quarterbacks we have are better than Trey Lance? I don't think our quarterback room is better with Trey Lance not there. So I definitely don't think Brandon Allen is better than Trey Lance, and Kyle Shanahan made it clear that Trey Lance would have been quarterback 3. So that means Brandon Allen would have probably been cut. But, you know, what they did for Trey, in my opinion, I mean, they definitely were looking out for themselves, but the Niners had got phone calls. Look, teams are going to call about players. What they choose to offer you for the player, that's another conversation. The Niners were like, listen, we're not going to use Trey Lance. He's going to sit here and collect dust. Dallas was like, well, we'll give you a 4th-round pick. Other teams called and offered 6th-round picks. I think the Niners was like, you know what? Let's go ahead and do something. Let's move him. And then, you know, he's no longer our concern. And that's what they did. That's the business side a lot of people don't want to get into, yo. It's a lot of stuff people don't want to get into. But that's just the business side of it. It could be more, all right? But that's just the business side. So any word on kickers from Team Cali? Yeah, man. I mean, Jake Moody's the kicker. He made the roster, yo. I'm going with Jake until he's ruled out of week 1. Is that fair to say? I'm going to go with Jake until he's ruled out. That's how I'm looking. My man Uncle Salty's in the building. He says, listen, Trey Lance is no longer on his team. Time to turn the page. The potential ongoing drama was the reason why the Niners pulled the ripcord. Could be. It could be. I think they got a offer. They got the highest offer that they were looking for Trey Lance, and boom. Yeah. And then they took the highest offer to end probably the drama that was going on. So we'll, who knows what the real reason is. Once Trey Lance starts playing, maybe he'll let it come out just like Jimmy Garoppolo did. All right. Yeah, the Niners are working out kickers, but they didn't sign any kickers, nor did they trade for any kickers. And there are going to be some kickers. There's some kickers out there right now that are free agents. And look, the day is not over. The Niners may easily just go ahead and grab another kicker. We'll see. We'll see how it all pans out. But as of right now, before I end this show, because I believe John Lynch and them are going to be speaking, all right, Marlon Davidson, defensive interior, T.Y. McGill, interior, Curtis Robinson, linebacker, Jack Coletto, fullback extraordinaire, Leroy Watson, the fourth offensive tackle, and Corey Luciano, another offensive lineman. Paul, what's going on, bro? Are on the practice squad. I actually like the practice squad. Don't forget Alfredo Gutierrez will probably be added to the practice squad at some point. He is the 49ers international player. Guys, it's been a great show. I'll be here Friday with John Chapman. Make sure you guys tune in 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tonight will be the What's Your Fantasy. If you guys, man, are you guys into fantasy football? Because even if you're not, I need you here at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Same damn channel. Myself, Crystal Peachy B, we host a fantasy football show, and we break down things that are going on in fantasy football. And today's episode, we're going to be going through our 10 sleepers. Players that you do not want to miss out on. So don't miss out on tonight's episode. It's 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you're not into fantasy football, tune in anyway. And if you're into fantasy football, get your notebooks prepared. We got some stuff for you. We're going to have a blast tonight. Peachy, I'll see you tonight at 8. Everybody else, I'll see you guys later, man. Love y'all. Stay up. Stay faithful. Always, and I mean always, keep it nitty gritty, baby. We out.
I be sipping gold bar, whiskey on the rocks, and a 24 karat gold on a watch. My 7-1 Chevy be tipping non-stop, sounding like Trent Williams on the block. So you know we can't stop, we be banging through your speakers. Wayne Breezie on the field or in the bleachers. You can tune into my show and I'm a teacher. Wayne Breezie, the phone line preacher.